Right, legends, I get asked this question all the time. Can you tell me how to close sales calls without feeling sleazy? Well, after closing well over £200,000 in new business over the past 4 months, by only taking payment on the call once and selling people in the DMs, yes I can. Because if you are anything like me, you're probably sick and tired of getting on sales calls and feeling like you're trying to convince someone to buy from you. So I made a new rule for my businesses at the start of 2023. This isn't a new thing. I've generated more than £200,000 selling this way just in the past 4 months. And here's a fun fact that I kind of alluded to before. I've only had one person pay over the phone, not just in the past 4 months, but out of my last 135 sales calls, where we've converted over 100 coaches in total. First off, I'm not getting on any sales calls unless I know that someone aligns with our values, period. What you should really be asking me is, how have you earned the right to be able to sell in the DMs, or how do you feel so confident letting someone leave a call without paying, knowing that they'll say yes, which is exactly what I'm going to be discussing today. So welcome to the final video of a 6-part mini-series where I'm sharing with you the biggest lessons that I've learned from building my business from 0 to over 40k per month in 9 months, without complex funnels, without cold outreach, and without sales calls. Now, if you haven't seen parts 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 yet, and you're wondering who the fuck this bald cunt is that has an accent that you kind of need to squint to understand, make sure to go watch those first videos. You can check them out somewhere around here. But if you're up to speed on how we do things differently around here and you're ready to get intellectually fucking swole, then you better hold on. Let's dive in. So the reason why I'm so confident selling to people in the DMs or selling to people on sales calls, even though they don't pay me then, they leave and they pay me later, is down to the fact that we have a process in place that's been proven to work time and time again, that I've been running now for years, not just in this business, but every single business that we created beforehand. And that is our one simple system. It's what we've now redesigned to call the R&R generator, because it's actually way more on brand and it actually just matches what it is that we do, because we help coaches build a system for client acquisition and we simultaneously teach them on human behavior, real world coaching, beliefs, psychology, communication, and help them build a solid delivery process that guarantees any result for any client in any niche. And that is where the core component of your offer comes from. We then build the trust by offering so much fucking free value without expectation. Let me add that in. We do it without expectation. We are just ruthlessly consistent at wanting to share our message and impact lives, because that is at the core the intention that we've always had. It is the value that we have always found in being in service to others. Being in service to others doesn't mean that I need to be paid by every single person that I give something to. I genuinely don't, because I've had no money and I've had money, and I've never changed the way that I've lived with either. I was happy when I was earning £1,200 in a call centre, and I'm happy just as much earning £40,000 organically in a coaching business that isn't even a year old. So this is where it's really, really important to understand the intention behind everything that you do. I actually pay myself the exact same salary that I've paid myself for the past 8 years, regardless of how much more money that I've made at any given point, how much revenue that we've generated. And we have this system in place where we do create so much volume of free information, valuable information, to really change how people build their businesses, think about business, develop themselves personally, that we have zero fucking connection emotionally to the sales that we make. And that is how you actually run a fulfillment business over time, a values-led business over time. Is just as much yes as a business needs to make money, and that is a core component of business. Actually, if you focus less on the business and the money that you're going to generate, and focus more so on building reciprocal equity and offering value for free without expectation, so that someone feels out of exchange in a way where you've given them so much and they've not given you anything that they want to invest in you, and even if they don't, they've potentially got a lot of useful information. That's the way you should go about your business, because you will make way more sales that way. It's the people that can't think that way that will never achieve those results. I always like to think about it in the same kind of way as taking your dog around the park. If you've got a dog, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You'll take your dog around the park, you'll throw a ball, and when you're ready to leave, potentially you've got a call coming up, potentially you need to be somewhere, the dog's not done yet, you say, right, come on, time to go up the road. and they go, fuck you, I'm not ready to leave yet. And they'll look at you from across the park, ball in their mouth, like wagging their tail, and you're like, I know exactly what you're going to fucking get up to now, you little shit. And what happens is if you chase the dog will run away. You're never going to catch it because you're not as fast as a fucking dog. But what happens is you get more stressed, you get more irate, you get more uptight, you sweat, you start to get worried, you start to shout, you start to get reactive. When really, in many cases, if you just done, right, I'm away up the road, and you just leave, your dog will follow you. And that's how I've always liked to simply contextualize this in business, because it's exactly what my fucking dog does. So everything that we do to sell people into our coaching program in the DMs or have them leave sales calls without paying is exactly because of the system that we've put in place and that I've been trying to teach to you today. But the reason why most coaches will not do this stuff or explore this stuff is because there is a perceived kind of like assumption that it just won't work. They might put out about long form content, it gets 10 views, still fucking 10 people. That's the way that I look at it. Imagine you had put out a lead magnet, for example, and it only got 4 downloads the first time. Second time it got 5. Next time it got 3. But imagine you kept putting that out time and time again across the course of a year. You could end up with 200 subscribers now on your email list. That's 200 people that put their hand up and identified themselves as people that want your stuff. But coaches get way too fucking attached to outcomes of things that hold absolutely no relevance in the grand scheme of building their business. And they'll create one thing, and potentially if it doesn't perform that well, they'll stop from creating another. We have created, since January 2024, between running live webinars, putting on specific experiences, holding events, creating free resources, long-form pieces of content. This year alone, 2025 alone, we have created 87 pieces of long-form content so far. 87 pieces of long-form content. We've also ran 8 different events, either with clients or online webinars or something along those lines. We have created 3 mini courses, multiple more lead magnets. And the lead magnets for us are genuinely like, we've identified this could help someone. Let's just get out there. Even if we don't sell from it, like I said, with that expectation, it still helps someone because that is at the core of everything that we do. And it should be at the core of everything that you do. That's where coaches are getting it all wrong because they're so fucking conditioned that all just has to be about the business. And because they're so focused only on the business, they miss all of the components of the very things that are going to help them build their business, which is reconnecting with why you got into this job in the fucking first place. And if you learned from past mistakes of defaulting to that frame of mind because you took time to reflect, you would understand that. And I'm only saying this because I'm fucking passionate about it. And I've got the receipts to prove multiple times over that it's worked for me time and time again, and the clients that implement it the exact same way that we ask them to or coach them towards. Because yes, even though you might not be there yet, you need to be open enough to exploring it. Because see, if you're closed off, just go back to the same mentor that took your last fucking 10K and you got nowhere with. But this is why we're so confident at selling, because essentially, as a result of our R&R generator and the proof that we collect, we are able to create more belief that this is the right thing in the minds of our audience. That is it. If you could do so much volume to create so much trust and so much certainty in the minds of your audience that you should be the person they invest in, and you put more effort into those areas rather than feeling like you're putting in a lot of effort and then asking why nobody's buying, then you would get so much further ahead. And this is the thing, you need to critically think a little bit more. If you've got this far, you'll understand that I value a few things: radical responsibility and maximum fucking effort. And I see a lot of people thinking that they're putting in a lot of effort because they're creating some social media short form content. You are probably doing about 10% of what you need to be where you think that you should be. Because people throw these numbers about all the time these days. Just want to be at 10K, just want to be at 15K, just want to be at 20K, just want to be at 30K. And I think, do you know what's funny? If you earn over £5,000 per month in the UK, you are in the top 10% of earners. If you earn over 10k per month, you're in the top 1% of earners. If you earn over 20k per month, you're in the top 0.5% of earners. If you are in a 30k earning bracket, you are in the top 0.1% of people in the UK, which is an even more competitive field than the people who make it into professional sport, because approximately 1% of people in the UK make a living off of professional sport. So if you want to earn more than 30k per month, you need to actually compete to a way more intense level and be so fucking good at what you do to be able to actually achieve that. Because what sports star do you know that makes a living from playing sport that isn't good at what they do and haven't worked so fucking hard to get there? There needs to be a level of responsibility and understanding around this here, because you have been conditioned to believe that these numbers are normal. Now, let me put into context what we don't do, right, to help you to get to 20k per month. Because in many cases, the people that have conditioned you to believe that this is easy are the people who will tell their coaches. So these mentors will tell coaches, right, let's get you a team of 3 VAs, let's get you a couple of closers, let's get you additional coaches, and all I want you to do is focus on selling. And these other people, these VAs, these setters are also going to do that as well. And they're just doing so much volume in a way that I don't like, personally. A lot of outreach, selling to people when they're not ready to be sold to yet, bringing them into the program as well, giving them to coaches that are less experienced, because they usually tell you to employ people who are not as experienced as you. And especially if they're less experienced and you're bringing people in that aren't ready to take action yet, you're getting less results, the team are less fulfilled, it's like a fucking toxin running through the lifeblood of your business. And the profit margins, even though someone might be earning 30k, they're only walking away with 4 or 5k per month. What the fuck is the point in that? Like, why would you want to run that sort of business? And because everyone else is doing that, people are attracted to us because we do things differently. And this is where you have to do things differently and you have to identify it. Because actually, you become the market choice when you have a clear why behind why you do what you do, and how you bring out who you are, the best of yourself, what you do, and how you do it. Because the why, including all of these different things, will showcase to others why they should invest in you, because they'll see why you do what you do, how you do it, what you do it, or what you do to be able to accomplish it. And this is why it's so fucking goddamn important to lean into your own strength, your own authenticity, your own unique selling points. Because I'm not like other mentors. I'm not like other business coaches. I am actually very opposite to many of them. And that's a good thing. Opposite's good. When I was a kid, I always used to get picked on, and I tried for years to run away from who I truly was and mold myself into different people in different environments for other people to accept me. And it wasn't until I realised that by diminishing the very best parts of me, I then put myself in a box and was never ever going to achieve anything and fit in. I would just fit in with everyone else and become a fucking sheep. When I changed that, everything changed for me. And that was before I got into my coaching career. That's how I was able to become the most well-known coach in my local area that got the best results. That's how I became the most well-known online coach in my area. That is how I then got the offer to work in one of the biggest mentorships in Europe, coaching coaches on how to build their businesses, because I'd done that on my own. I'd built my business to pretty much £200,000 plus per year without anyone else's help. Because I leaned into all the best parts of me. I built a personal brand that wasn't dancing around my kitchen, showing you what I fucking eat in a day. It was just me being so focused and so connected on living and breathing exactly what I value and who I am unconditionally, fully authentically, without fucking fear of judgment from anyone else. And it's only when you can strip back to who you truly are and present yourself in a way that will connect with other people, and you tie that into what you do, how you do it, and why you do it, you will always, regardless of the advice that you get, you will always fucking struggle. Because the most unique parts of you are the parts that people need to see. And you make way too much of a fucking big deal out of them, thinking that other people are going to judge you for it. Here's an insight. Whether you do it or whether you don't, people are going to fucking judge you anyway. So do it. This is where you have to do so much volume you can't lose. We have just hit, actually, the day that I'm recording this, yesterday, we just hit 100 episodes on our Built for Coaches podcast. 2 consecutive episodes every single week for this year so far, apart from a couple of weeks where I was traveling and it just wasn't possible to fit 2 in. Put that into perspective, right? So 100 episodes that people can go and binge on. And like I said previously, people will just drop into my DMs and be like, I binge watched or listened to your podcast over the weekend and I want to work with you. And this is where it allows people to move from any of these, let's say contemplation, down to action, right? And even if people kind of move backwards and forwards once they're inside of our community, that's fine because we've got the coaching skill to support them. Because someone could, for example, be in action stage with building their business, but they're not in action stage with creating content yet. So it's like, how do we support them to create better content, even though they're ready to act and build their business? This one component of it, they're not ready to take action on yet. Just like you might have clients who are all in the training, but aren't taking their nutrition seriously because they're not at the point of action yet. And imagine if you knew this, how this would help you better serve your clients. And this is why people say the things that they do about us, right? Like Connor, who said that his favourite pastime, one of his favourite pastimes, is giving me and Jen money. Another one of our clients, Chris, after being in multiple mentorships, you've created something outstanding. I'm really enjoying being here. That identity and vision stuff at the start has been the perfect way to start what I know is going to be a transformational journey. Because actually at the very start of the process, we don't give you anything business related. We help you align yourself to what you want to achieve in business. Again, someone else that came from another mentorship, only been here a week and feels so much more organised already and treating this how it should be and prioritising it like a 9 to 5. Must say the standards being set here are miles above the mentorships that I've been in. Again, multiple mentorships. Class event as always, after one of our events this year, I sat and thought there's nowhere else like this in the industry. Top work from you both. And also I would like to say that after just being here a few weeks, I've already felt more value than any other mentorship. Thank you. These are just a couple of the pieces of feedback that we get regularly. And also this client who, he's never a client, he wasn't a client at the time, but he reached out and said, from the content that we were putting out, just goes to show you how this process works, reached out and said, I'm all good, man, because he reached out to see how I was. I honestly love what you're doing in the industry right now, mate. So refreshing. That's exactly why everyone is buying into what you're preaching, literally changing the game. Just because we are so committed to the mission that we're on and so aligned to the mission that we're on. And actually, see if more people just showed up and done exactly what they said they'd do, people would see them not in the same light. We're just not willing to negotiate on how we do the work that we do. We will never, ever, ever negotiate on quality. So I said in the last video that sometimes if someone does come to a call, let's say it's someone that's been referred by someone that's currently working with us, and they trust the person that's referred them, but they don't fully trust us yet because they've not actually been through this kind of like flywheel process. You essentially want to sell them through desire. So what does that look like? You do still want to get clear on the pain, so you have to ask clarifying questions about their current situation. You have to ask probing questions that uncover the dream island vision for them, and you want to ask consequence questions to trigger insight about not changing. So that gives you information, right? That gives you information, but the most important thing above all else, forget about the questions you ask, is not to trigger sales resistance. And you will trigger sales resistance if any of these are off. Tone, verbal pacing, behaviour and vision-based questions, letting go of the sale, right? So again, if you're so focused on getting the sale that you need to get it over the line, you've probably already lost. This is why getting into the right frame of mind and approaching your business in the right way will do wonders for every single aspect of your business. Now, from a mindset perspective, tools. Move this over a wee bit, just make it a little bit bigger. The mindset that you need to be in is that people want to believe you, they want to buy, you must help their logical brains justify the decision. So this is why we need to tap into the emotion of what they want to achieve, right? Because if we keep them in logical-based thinking, logistical-based thinking around features, they're never going to buy, right? So we need to be able to create emotion, aspiration around the future, Get clear on the pain now, yes, 100%, and understand what that gap looks like, but focus more on the future. Selling happens before you ask. Closing begins after. It's easier to handle obstacles over objections. Prevention versus objection handling is so important. So objection prevention should be seeded into like all your content. And again, that's why this system works so well, because you're already in the process of making sure that people are sold by the time that they come to you. Expect a plan for a no, right? Expect and plan for a no. It is not a failure, it's expected. Stop being surprised when someone says no to working with you, right? Everyone can't say yes. Selling is the first step of being a great coach. Selling is helping your prospect help themselves by making a decision to help themselves, and you are not the one that's helping them make the decision. They are the one making the decision, right? You are helping them help themselves. That's the way that you have to think about it. Keep the prospect, not the sale, as a priority, right? So it's not about you and it's not about the money, it's about the prospect. Always lead with childlike curiosity at all times. Seek to understand, not to argue. Please always seek to understand. That's one of the most important things I can ever tell you. Sell from the back foot, right? I just want to help you, and if this means not doing this, then I'm cool with that. I'm on your team. I will say that to people. Like, if this isn't right for you, that's cool. I want what is best for you. So many clients, if you're watching this, will be able to validate this. Selling is a transference of a belief over a bridge of trust. Therefore, you must have belief in order to transfer it. Remind yourself of how good you are. One thing that I like to do is have a folder in my phone, which I basically look at if I'm ever going on to a sales call that could potentially not close, or that I don't have the greatest confidence around because they might have came quite cold from somewhere. You can only build trust if you genuinely want to help people. Humans are great at sniffing out insincerity. Basically, people who are cunts. Closers ask hard questions because they genuinely care. The person who cares the most about the prospect wins. If you care about their well-being more than they do, you win. Record all your sales calls, always using Fathom, and then get better at your sales calls if you don't close by reflecting and critically thinking about what you can do better. And power is the ability to lead people. And if you want to be a powerful leader, you must master the skills of sales. So if you don't pre-sell people and you need to go through a sales process, this is exactly how you would do it. But actually, our way is much more fun. So let's look what I've given you over the last 6 episodes. So I've given you the model, the offer, content that converts, pre-selling and closing that I've used to build my business pretty rapidly over the past 9 months. I've told you what you need to do, but you might have some questions off the back of it. So number 1, how do I transition to a scalable offer? How do I craft magnetic messaging to close perfect future clients? How do I launch and grow my email community? How do I structure my delivery to get world-class results and transformations? How do I make long-form content which pre-sales prospects into working with me? How do I structure my days? What more do I have to learn? What behaviors and beliefs do I need to change to become successful? Well, you have a choice to make. You can choose to spend the next 5 years banging your head against a fucking brick wall, trying to figure this shit out on your own. But the truth is, I could give you the entire game plan here in these videos, and you could try and implement it for your business. But what's going to happen is you're going to miss this stuff that really makes the model work, the nuance, because the devil is truly in the details. And just like the majority of people who consume your content, you're the glue that brings it all together. And that's why there's a second option, one that condenses 5 years into the next 12 months. And that option is investing in a guide. Having someone by your side who's already walked the walk to help you implement all of the systems that you've seen in the past 6 videos. I wouldn't have been able to get to where I am today without investing in multiple guides and mentors over the years. And look, I truly don't give a fuck if you want to work with me. All I care about is that you get help from someone. But if you are interested in working with me, there are a few things that you should know. Firstly, I don't work with just anyone. I'm looking to work with a very specific type of client, people like Paddy, Alex and Jack, who value being great at their fucking jobs and who have collectively closed 70k in coaching deals between them in the past 4 months. Or Aidan, who has the exact mindset of what we preach, which is fuck around and find out to explore what works or what doesn't, who's brought in 30 clients into his business in the past 4 months. Or Soraya, who is so heavily aligned to getting incredible results for the women she works with that she's running a 6-figure fulfillment business. So here's the deal. You must already be serving clients and have some class results, testimonials and case studies. You must have the intention to be one of the most elite operators in your niche. You must be self-motivated. We don't hold people's hands. We empower people to take control of their business. So if you're looking for a babysitter, you're looking for someone to save you. And there's only one person that can save you, and they'll look at you every single time that you look in the mirror. And this one is critical. You've got to be able to handle me being direct at times. I have a no bullshit approach with my clients, and they love it because I don't do it in a dickish way. I do it in a way that challenges their thoughts and beliefs, but some people, they just can't handle it. So if you're cool being average and want your hand held, I'm afraid this is the end of the line for us. I'm just not your guy. So I'm going to have to respectfully ask you to fuck off. And finally, full transparency. We're not cheap, but we are extremely affordable for the value that you receive. If you are not willing or in a position to make a significant investment and leap of faith into your future, then this isn't for you just yet. And respectfully, you might have to fuck off for a while. But if you are ready to scale to 20k per month and you're committed to working hard to get there while surrounding yourself with a crew of other elite coaches who want to push themselves and you outside of yours and their comfort zone, who are aligned to your values, then check out this video here, which explains exactly how it works, and then DM me the number 67 on Instagram so that I can share the full details with you. That was class as always. The 6-part mini-series bus stops here, but we will be continuing to drop new videos regularly, so make sure you like this video as a send-off and subscribe to the channel for regular updates.